topic of the stream is Central Asia preparation, and in this live stream I will share the preparation I have completed so far for my Tenere 700 for the upcoming trip to Central Asia. At the moment my motorcycle is on almost 90,000 kilometers, like 89,000 and something, so 90,000 kilometers so far. And the only small problem that I had with it was, Mattia, hello, how are you doing? The only small issue that I had with the motorcycle was the neutral gear, not the neutral, the gear shifter counter. Not the gear shifter, the gear counter actually. It was starting showing me different gears or not showing at all on the dashboard. And it's a small sensor like this size, with the cables that going directly to the system. And I ordered a new sensor, costed me around 50 or 60 euros, something like that. Replaced it and all good. Now the gears are all done. Hello to Croatia. Actually, I'm going to Croatia between 5th and 10th of April, Mattia. I'll be in Split area for about 5 days. I have an important meeting over there. But anyway, all right, so the only problem that I've got with this motorcycle is the gear counting sensor. That was everything for 90,000 kilometers. Anything else works absolutely trouble-free. And now I'm gonna share the information, what is its current condition at the moment after all of these kilometers. The first thing that we did in my friend's garage was to check the valve clearance. And I can tell you right now that they are in the specifications. After 90,000 kilometers, the valves clearance is in specifications. The exhaust valves are on the bottom line, but still in the specifications. So I did not adjust anything else at the moment. I did not adjust anything right now. And I plan to do it probably after 30, 40, maybe 50,000 kilometers, when the moment comes to change my timing chain anyway. So when I need to change the timing chain, I have to open again the cylinder head cover, remove the chain and stuff like that, and then I'm gonna have access to the valves again, because it is very difficult to get there, very difficult, not much space between the top of the engine and the frame. It's very limited space, and we had actually yesterday a lot of trouble just to get this cover out. It's very difficult. It goes out only in one specific position, and you have to get it back in the same specific position, but you need a few minutes just to realize where exactly it is, because there are a lot of things over there. So the valves were in the specifications, nothing to worry about them right now. Checked it, measured it, all good. I'm not gonna touch it until the moment for time chain come. The next one that we did is to check, we changed the spark plugs. They were also in the specifications. The gap, the possible gap that the spark plug supposed to have on the top between the ignition and the core is 0.75, and my sparks were with 0.75. So they were perfectly fine to be run in another, I don't know, 20, 30,000 kilometers. But anyway, they were on about 35,000 kilometers at the moment, and I changed them with new model, with new sparks. But the one that I removed, I took them and I will use them as a spare for my upcoming trip. Not that it is possible to change them on the road, very difficult job, if possible at all. But it will be very bad if I have a spark problem and I don't have a spare with me. So I prefer to have them as a spare. But as I told you, after 35,000 kilometers, they were perfectly fine. The next thing that we did is to change the forks oil with the new fresh oil. The last one is probably almost 2 years old, like 1.5 years old, maybe 38,000 kilometers on it. And it was in perfect condition. But as you know, the fork oil need to be changed at least once per year, the same as the engine oil. No matter how many kilometers you have or you don't have, it's good always to change it. at least once per year. And now before this long trip, I wanted to be sure that everything is all right inside. No condensation, no rust, no nothing like this. It was perfectly fine. I changed the oil, I inspected everything inside, the bushings and everything was looking very good. I was happy with the result. So now I have a fresh oil and forks. Also the neoprene socks that I have on the bottom part of the forks were in very good condition. I don't need to change it right now. The one that I have are perfectly fine. So I kept them for the future trials. The next one that we checked was the steering bearings, and they were in perfect condition. I was a little afraid that they might be gone, or at least to some degree, but they were like brand new. We removed the whole forks, the whole triple clamp and everything, and inspected very carefully, clean it, the bearings, loop them after that, and put back everything together perfectly. Works fantastic. No gaps, no sticking, no holdings, nothing like this. Fantastic. I'm very happy with this result as well. We changed the antifreeze. Even though it was in very good condition, we even tested with a specific tester, and it was all good. No need to be changed, honestly, but because we needed to remove the radiator to have access to the valves and to the spark plugs, we changed it anyway. So now I have even a fresh antifreeze in my motorcycle. Then we checked the front wheel bearings on the front wheel. In perfect condition they were, but we changed it anyway. And now the one that I took off, they will come as a spare in my luggage. The same with the wheel bearings on the rear wheel. The same, perfect condition. They move without any problems, no stickings, no rust, nothing. They work perfectly fine. I would suspect that the wheel bearing, the bearing of the sprocket carrier barrier will be a little bit worn out. The sprocket carrier bearing will be worn out, but actually it was also good. So all bearings, all 5 bearings on my motorcycle, plus 2 on the steering column, 7 bearings altogether, were in perfect condition. And one of the reasons of that is because I don't wash my motorcycle very often, and I never use a jet spray over the wheels and especially over the bearings. This destroyed them very fast. Even though I used my motorcycle very hard in many different road conditions, in many rainy days, in many muddy and dusty conditions, I crossed a lot of rivers and a lot of potholes and anything, and bad roads and any kind of roads. It's for 90,000 kilometers, and they are still in perfect condition. So probably the quality was good. I am afraid that the new that I have put right now won't last that much, but anyway, I kept them as a spare as well. So after that, we removed the linkage from under the shock absorber, the whole linkage. We removed it, inspected very carefully, and again, everything in perfect conditions. All of these needle bearings inside were exactly on the positions that they have to be, greased, and everything was absolutely clean. Of course, clean it, wash it, and clean it, and lube it after that, and put it back together. And the same was with the swing arm bearings. The swing arm that holds the whole rear wheel, we removed it completely, checked all the bearings, all in perfect condition again. So I have nothing to complain, nothing to say that this part is bad, or this part of the motorcycle is not quality enough, or here Yamaha cheated a bit with something. So far everything is fantastic. And I also changed the toolbox that I have. I have one model. Now I have the same model, but with the door that is possible to lock. The first one was just simple, you can close the door. Now this comes with a small screw, so you can basically lock the door so your tools cannot fall out from it. But it's basically the same design. And what I have to do next on my motorcycle, because this is not everything, this is not the full preparation that I plan to do before the trip. So what is left is I need to change the clutch plates of the motorcycle, because on 90,000 kilometers I guess it will last another maybe 10 or 20, but I don't want to risk with it on this trip. It's a long trip, and I won't be able to find a spare clutch plates on this in this destination. That's why I'm gonna change them before the trip. And also chain and sprockets, they will be changed also before the trip, which means somewhere around the beginning of June I will change the clutch plates and the sprockets and chain, because I want to ride them at least 1,000 kilometers before the trip, just to make sure that everything is fine. I will also change the oil chain, the oil just before the trip, and the brake fluid change will be necessary as well. So all of this will be done 2 weeks before the trip, so I'll have enough time to test that everything works perfectly before I go. So this is what I have done so far, and as I said, perfectly fine. I don't know what is the reason, but as you know, I use my motorcycle. If it only stays in the garage and I use it locally and take care of it all the time and clean it, and if I ride very gently, never go off-road or stuff like that, I will understand. But with the hard ride that I have done for such a mileage, even I am surprised with the quality that Yamaha provided. I really hope that it will stay like this and it will last another at least 100,000 kilometers before I decided to change it, but who knows. So that was everything that I wanted to share, guys. Now if you want to ask me something, please do it so. No, the spark plugs are normal, Richard. I have some reserves about iridium spark plugs. For some models they might work better, but I have experimented in different motorcycles and they never provided something better than normal spark plugs, and they are almost double or maybe triple price. So no, I'm with the normal spark plugs, just the original for the model. I did not even remember how much they were, but they were fine, normal. Yeah, it's funny, Japanese quality. I really hope that they will keep the quality, but I don't think that it will be for that long. They already start to make some shifts with the quality. Back in the days when I was still in Berlin, I had opportunity to talk with one person, Japanese guy, who was with some kind of car industry in Japan. I couldn't remember which one. And I asked him about the quality of the cars, because I'm a big fan of Japanese cars and always been. And I wanted to ask him about what is the way nowadays the companies thinks about that. And he said that because I told him that I always believe that the Japanese companies, they make their cars to last as much as possible with quality materials and the idea of all of this. But he said that in the last 5 years, they running very fast to the same directions that most European cars are going. And he said, I'm really sorry to say that, but the quality of our cars is not going to be the same after a few years, if you understand what I mean. Richard, I remember plumbing guessing the steering head bearing when you buy this bike. Time well spent. I think suspension too. Yes, we greased the steering wheel bearings, because they were completely dry when we got the motorcycle. Probably this is one of the reasons why it survived so long. And yeah, suspension is changed. I changed yes, I told you, the suspension or the forks oil was changed 2 years ago. But yes, you're also right that we inspect and grease the linkage as well. Maybe this is the reason why it survived so long. Maybe, yeah, you're right. This is what I expect from a motorcycle. When I buy it, I want it to last at least 5 years without any problems. After that, we can talk about some issues here and there, but not when you buy it immediately. On the subject of, Richard, on the subject of Japanese cars, I have been told that they build the cars less well now for sell more spares. Yeah, I don't know what is the shoe, but yeah, this is exactly what this guy told me. Richard, more or less the same story. They realize that if you build a very reliable motorcycles, you're losing a lot of money from the market. So that's why they start to shift in this direction. And the next reason is because of all of these regulations that are asked everywhere around the world, they need to put a lot of new innovations and electronics and stuff like that, and all of this somehow make the cars not so reliable. But nothing we can do about it. It's the same with the motorcycles. You see what happens with the new models. Every new model looks like made from cheese. So fragile and so stupid ideas and innovations made on it. I have the impression that the designers that plan and design and create these motorcycles are not even riders. So they make things that absolutely no make sense. I'm not talking only about the maintenance point of view, but everything about the real use of these motorcycles. But I might be wrong. It's funny, I have to agree, only had Acura since 2009, at least 2019 MDX is not same quality as my 2014 Acura TL. Yeah, everything is going down. And we can see it not only in motorcycles and cars, in every level. Everything you buy nowadays, it's more fragile than before, but of course it's more expensive. And it used to be better, but it is not, it's just more. Richard, one of my biggest problems with modern bike is that I cannot work on most. I used to service on my own bike, as teenager, most model stuff is way. Yeah, true, most of the modern bikes are very difficult to work on. The Tenere is still fine, you can still make a lot of things alone. So I will agree about the spark plugs, not for everyone, definitely not for everyone. It's a very precise work and you might damage a few things if you are not careful. But anything else could be done alone. I guess that with the Himalayan you won't have these problems, Richard. There is more than enough space to work on this engine, I believe, at least from what I saw in the shop. I haven't inspected carefully, but what I saw in the shop was just fine. It's funny, I don't understand why Yamaha ended WR250R and not coming out with a new model for several years now. Probably they have some good reasons about it. Maybe they don't have enough clients for it, or I don't know, maybe they plan to sell something else. Yamaha marketing often surprise people with decisions. For many years they were complaining that there is no new Tenere on the market and stuff like that. They were delaying, but finally when they released the Tenere 700, it became like a boom, and they sold so many models from it. Now they try to change it, to upgrade it, to make all of different things, but the original idea was good. It is simple as I am. Oh, good to know, Richard. Good to know that the motorcycle is simple. This is one of the reasons so many people buy it and enjoy it. What I told you before, I really hope that in about 5 to 10 years time, Yamaha will come with a model that is 450cc. Something like mini Tenere, but 450cc. If they keep the same shape, I'll be perfectly happy with it. Just to have a small engine, 450cc or 500 maximum, and make it a little bit lighter, 20-30 kilograms lighter will be just perfect for me, for my age, because I won't become younger or tougher, and I will really enjoy it. Plummet's girlfriend still have the CF Moto 450, but she does not ride it much. It's I think altogether, after I tested, she got maximum of 200 or 300 kilometers on it. Good idea, as you know, but it looks too fragile and I don't think that it will last that much. You're praying every day for that. Me either, but it will come eventually. You know, they follow the market, and if we want it, they will give it to us. We'll see. Never know. But yeah, if you have time, watch the video tomorrow. You'll see with your eyes what I'm talking about, this the quality that this model provides. Honestly, when I saw it for the first time in EICMA, it was in 2019, I believe, in Italy. I thought that it's very fragile and it's not gonna last much, but it's proved that I was not right. But yeah, Yamaha 450, as long as it has the same seat height, will be perfect. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. If they keep the shape, even if they keep the same frame or anything. Just to add a lighter engine, will drop probably 15 to 20 kilograms on it, from it, and it will be great. Yeah, I like the design of the Tenere actually. Very nice. I like it. I like the dashboard, everything. Even though I have the old dashboard, I'm still fine with it. We'll see what the end result will be, or will they make it at all, because you don't know. But what I see, what other manufacturers do, they always try to have at least one model with a small capacity. Now I have heard that BMW will release very soon 450 model, and many people already waiting for it, and probably will sell a lot. How good or how quality it will be, we still don't know. I have a follower who wanted to buy it now. My advice is always the same: wait at least a few years before you decided to buy a new model, just to make sure that it will work well and all the problems will be clean. But Tenere travel, if everyone is the same as me, the spend matters less than this is more than enough. Yeah, we are all different and want different things. For me, the most important, as you know already, is reliability, and the check that I have done yesterday proved that I made the right choice, at least for now. How much longer it will last, I don't know, but from what I saw, I can bet that at least another 50,000 kilometers it will go without any problems. After that, it can show some weaknesses, but even after this mileage, if the motorcycle starts to make some problems here and there, I will understand it, because it is already, let's say, half of the life of this engine and all the components. But when they start appearing very soon, when you buy the motorcycle, and the first months or years you have to go all the time to the dealer to checking for some problems or some engine lights or whatever problems, it all goes to the computers. It's just madness. I just don't want to go through all of this. I just want to write. Yeah, exactly. Sierra 300 Cadillac, 300 Yamaha, none. Maybe they will make it. Maybe they don't consider it until now because they were checking the market. But as I said, Yamaha, they know their job, and they will come probably with something like this. At least maybe 500 cc will be even perfect. Tenere Traveler, do you know the highest mileage of 700 Tenere has run without major problems? I know about one on 200,000 miles at the moment, but maybe more. Some people commute with these motorcycles very seriously and got a lot of miles. But it's a well-known engine, and probably will have some owners with more. If not the Tenere, maybe on the what was this? Not T7. What was the other model? Whatever. They have this engine on many. Maybe on the Tracers. On the Tracers they have the same engine. On a few more models. Yeah. The point is that if you take care about this motorcycle, make the proper maintenance, and you're not using it the way you shouldn't. For example, some people say that they can ride it on the highway with 170, 80 kilometers per hour. I'm sure that they can, but they're actually using the resources of the engine more hard, and it won't last that much. Yeah, 500 cc or 450 fitted on T7 frame will be fine. I agree with this. Less power, but if it comes with 30 kilos less, whoo, fantastic. Maybe they can narrow it a little bit more. And if you have a small engine, the consumption will drop even more, so the 16 liters petrol tank will be even better. Maybe they can redesign the tank to make it a little lower. Not exactly like on the KTM, but like on the old model, just like this. I don't know why they decided to put everything on the top. Yesterday when we removed the plastics and everything, I can see that there is so much free space around on the front part of the motorcycle, and they can easily design exactly the same shape as the old Tenere tank And I don't know why they decided to have this on the top, but maybe they have their reasons. Maybe they will correct it in the future, maybe not. Who knows? How many kilometers can I do on one tank? At least 350. But a few times I've done 400 kilometers with one tank, and once I've done almost 400 and I don't know, over 400 kilometers, and then I've got the reserve flight from 70 kilometers, and after I went to fill it up, I had 2.5 liters inside, which means another 50 kilometers. So if you're very careful with throttle, you can easily, not easily, but you can go to 450, maybe more kilometers with one tank. I never waited until it completely finished, but around 430-40 kilometers with one tank I have done a few times. But 350 is the minimum. Even if you twist really hard and ride over 150-60 kilometers, I'm sure that you'll be able to make at least 280 kilometers with one tank. That's why I don't think that it's the tank, it's a big problem at the moment, and that's why I never consider to change it, because for my type of trips and the travel that I do, it's perfectly fine to me right now. Could be better, but not a real need of that. Nowadays, gas stations are everywhere. Just a thought, but I wonder if it will be worth changing the fuel filter. I assume it's the tank with the pump. Yes, it is in the tank with the pump. I'm not gonna touch it even, because on my old Tenere, I never did it, never ever even checked it. But the reason is simple. You don't touch something that it works. And if for any reason it starts to clock a little bit, it will show at least some signs. It will probably have a problem with engine start, or won't have enough power on the high RPMs. At the moment it all works good, so I never even considered to check it or change it. We'll leave it like that. We'll see how long it will last. Mattia 5, which tires are you planning to start with, and what is the life expectancy for them in your opinion? I will start here with TKC 80. I will use TKC 80 on this trip. What I will do, I will start with the tires that I have at the moment. It doesn't matter how worn they are, but I will take a spares with me. I will take a tires with me, even though I don't like to take the tires. I will take it because of a few specific reasons. From Varna, where we're gonna start, to the end of Georgia are almost like 3,000 kilometers. We have about 2,000 kilometers in Turkey, and we're gonna cross it on the highways very quickly, as efficient as possible. And Turkish asphalt is very grainy, and if we start with the fresh tires from here, until we complete these 3,000 kilometers, the tires will be probably in the middle of their life. At least 1/3 of the life, probably in the middle of their life, because this asphalt is very grainy and it will be very hot in the summer, and half of the life of the tires will be gone. That's why we will start with whatever tires we have at the moment on our motorcycles, but we'll take new tires with us. And we're gonna change them at the end of Georgia. And from there, we expect them to last at least 8,000 kilometers for the rear and at least 15,000 kilometers for the front, which means that we'll be already in Kyrgyzstan, maybe in Kazakhstan. In Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan, we can find tires to buy and continue our trip. And if we can get to Kazakhstan, will be better, and I believe that we'll be able to go to Kazakhstan. And from there, we can buy whatever tires we find on local markets, because from there, we're gonna have only asphalt to get back home. Now the critical part is to have this TKC 80 on the roads that we're gonna need them. I mean, Tajikistan mostly, because in Tajikistan, we're gonna go to high elevation passes, a lot of dirt roads and stuff like that, and I want to have a good traction over there. The rest after Kazakhstan is fine, because any tire will do the job. So to answer your question, yes, we're gonna use a TKC 80, and I expect them to last rear at least 8,000 kilometers and front at least 15,000 kilometers. And we're gonna need one change probably in Kazakhstan. We can go to something like meters 07. The new version 07 Plus lasts about the same as TKC 80, between 80 and 9,000 kilometers, but the traction is not the same. The traction is much worse. That's why, and the prices are about the same. That's why I prefer to go with TKC 80, because I know that TKC 80 work very well on dirt roads and well enough for my type of riding on the asphalt roads. It's not the perfect for the asphalt, but it's a very good compromise. Any other questions, guys? I'm gonna give you a few more minutes before we finish the stream. So if you want to ask something else, now is the moment, go ahead. I really don't like carrying tires with me, but no other options. Once you cross the line of Istanbul, maybe Ankara, and after that you cannot find the tires. So once I get to the end of Turkey, there are only small towns there, and I cannot find tires that I can buy on the road and continue. To ship the tires over there, Turkey is not in the European Union, and I cannot easily organize that shipping. It will cost me too much to ship the tires over there. I can try an option to buy tires from Istanbul. Some of my friends will buy it and then ship it to the end of Turkey. But again, tires in Turkey are more expensive than they are here. Also, on this trip, I'm gonna put on my rear, I'm not gonna put 150 size, I'm gonna put 140 size. And for 140, I can buy front and rear for less than 200 euros, which is very good price for two tires. And if I can buy them cheap, and if they can last 8 or 9,000 kilometers, just perfectly fine to me. Then in Georgia, almost impossible to find TKC, maybe another type of tire, but not TKC. The rest of the countries, forget about TKC. In Kyrgyzstan or Kazakhstan, maybe we will find, but they will be a lot more expensive than here. But as I said, once we get to Kazakhstan, we'll be perfectly fine with any type of tire to continue our trip after that. Be interesting to watch the service tomorrow. Good chat tonight. Yeah, thank you very much for coming, Richard. Yeah, if you have time, watch the service tomorrow. You will see what I'm talking about. And there are some funny moments as well. 140 is not the original. Original is 150, a little bit wider. But I have seen many Teneres with 140. It is wide enough to do the job. No difference. It's even better on the dirt roads if you have a small tire. Alright guys, thank you very much for coming tonight. Next week we're gonna find another topic to talk. Thank you very much for supporting the channel by being a channel member or Patreon. It is highly appreciated. I'm here because of you. Ride as much as possible, keep smiling, keep riding, and see you next week. Ciao.